It's official. We have a massive update surrounding LeBron James that has fans absolutely fired up as he's revealed the truth on the Lakers. So to break that down, as well as discuss some new trade reports that have started to emerge that change everything for this Lakers offseason as Rob Pelinka continues to plan something big. But before you can do it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the daily videos. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today. And obviously, there's been some new comments from LeBron James revealing a ton, not only on his future with the Lakers, his future in the NBA, but on this Lakers team in general, and just the way that this offseason is going to shape up for him. And of course, in turn, the team itself. We also have a little bit of a rumor and report surrounding one particular player, Andrew Wiggins. You're going to stay tuned for all of it. But let's start, before we get into the Wiggins stuff, with LeBron James. And there's a lot of updates here to go over. I'm going to go over kind of the overview here, and then I'll dive into the exact quotes from LeBron as well as a few other things. Let's start with the updates on LeBron James. Now, he starts by saying that his priority is getting his left knee. This is basically the jot notes of it. His left knee healthy for training camp, and he says his knee is feeling good, and he hasn't lost the hunger to compete. Of course, credits his wife and kids for continuing to allow him to push forward, and he says it would be insane if he could stick around long enough to play with Bryce. So a lot of valuable information in here. For one, we'll start with just the injury thing before we dive into, of course, the big kind of report out of this. He is feeling really good. And of course, we know he had lingering knee injuries during the playoffs, during the season at times last year. It's going to happen given his age. But one of the biggest concerns was how will his body hold up, and how will he go about rehabbing this offseason? And B, will he be playing for sure next year? What's going to happen with his player option? Is he going to pick it up? Is he going to take a discount? Doubt it. Is he going to just return with the, accept his player option and do all that? It seems now his health is not a concern at this juncture, and that he hasn't lost his hunger either to compete, which is very big news as LeBron officially confirms that he will be returning next season to the NBA. And that is, of course, basically, I'll show you the quote here in a minute, but that's through the fact that he said he wants to play with Bryce and that he hasn't lost his hunger to compete. And this is the first time that we've officially heard from LeBron himself that he's willing to A, return to the Lakers, and B, just play basketball for the next couple of years. Based on these quotes, and if you actually read them, which we will together in a minute, it seems like he's willing to play for at least another year or two. He seems to have some stuff left in his body. There were some rumblings about him retiring following some interesting things that were posted by him, some advertisements, things like that. But let's dive into the exact quotes here. And it is a little bit small, but I'll go ahead and read it for you all here. James said he still thrives on the daily grind and hasn't lost the hunger to compete. He credits his wife, Savannah, and their kids, and basically goes on to say that he wants and would love to play and watch Bryce. James, who has a player option for next season, that will pay him more than $56 million, said the best thing about his children is that they never pressured him to end his career. They're like, Dad, continue on your dream. This is your dream. Continue on your focus. You've been here for us the whole time, which is obviously great. He's a fantastic player, icon, obviously. But he basically said in the final quote here, at this point in my career, you think about when the end is. That's human nature. You think it is this year or next year. The thoughts always creep in your mind, but I have not given a specific timetable or date. I'm seeing how my body and my family reacts to. So all but confirms he's going to be returning now. Of course, leaves it open still in case something happens, but leaves it open to next year, leaves it open to, beyond that. But his family is in full support of him. He's obviously wanting to continue. You see it in the first sentence there. He thrives in the daily grind, has not lost his hunger to compete. That's the words of someone who wants to return to basketball and wants to continue to play next season and be a guy who, he is the greatest player of all time anyway. But he also said as he prepares for the 23rd NBA season, the superstar LeBron James said his priority is getting his left knee healthy in time for training camp. And here is obviously the confirmation that he's returning. James 40 said the knee is feeling good after he sprained a ligament in April during the season-ending playoff loss to the Timberwolves. He asked James, who spoke to the Associated Press during an interview, asked what was next. He said, I have a lot of time to take care of my injury, my knee, the rest of my body, and make sure I'm as close to 100% as possible when training camp begins in late September. So, folks, he is officially returning. This is good news, but not only that, he's officially returning with a healthy body for the first time in a while, and he is targeting a 100% return to training camp. So this is obviously fantastic news, a fantastic, just signed for this Los Angeles Lakers team. And not only is this good because he's a great player and whatnot, he now gets what's seemingly going to be a full offseason of work under with Luka Doncic, with Reaves, with everybody else on their team who is going to be hopefully figuring out how to play with LeBron. Of course, Reaves figured it out, but he's going to have to now get adjusted to Luka Doncic and things like that. And I think an underrated aspect of this entire offseason is going to be a full camp of LeBron and Luka, a full summer of LeBron and Luka working together, training together, and of course then being able to go out there and actually perform to the way that we know they can. Luka seems to be getting in the best shape of his life. LeBron, I mean, he's always in great shape, but of course his knee now is 100% healthy, or at least he's targeting a 100% return following what has been not 100% for the past while. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. Are you happy he's returning? Still no word on the player option yet. All signs at this juncture point to him opting into his player option at the 56.2 million, whatever it is, and then from there going ahead and redeeming, that paycheck, and then of course playing next season, and then going from there in his next contract, which then gives him the opportunity and flexibility to stay with Bronny, maybe play with Bryce, whatever ends up happening. It's going to be a exciting time for, I'm sure, LeBron and his family, but also for us as Lakers fans to watch what he can do next year. And again, he's not the same player when he's not healthy, so hopefully he can be healthy. But speaking of, there's been some rumbling surrounding getting players to help LeBron and Luka in the form of Andrew Wiggins. You can see this here. Andrew Wiggins to Lakers trade report surfaces after Kevin Durant news. And of course, the big highlight right now are two trades. Giannis Antetokounmpo, which seems less likely, and Kevin Durant, which seems very likely and is bound to happen probably this week or next week. Now, the Lakers aren't involved in KD trade talks. It's not going to happen. They don't have the assets for it, and it doesn't make a ton of sense anyways, it does to a degree, but not given the assets they'd have to give up to match salary. However, Andrew Wiggins is a very interesting name, and if the Heat pull the trigger on Kevin Durant, who is one of the main targets for Kevin Durant, the main Suns' priority in a deal is to save money. Phoenix would reroute what the Heat send them for salary matching purposes. That's where the Lakers could pounce. So looking at the current market, Nick Claxton and Andrew Wiggins are probably the most realistic players each could get for the two big holes. And you see some rumblings of a pretty big blockbuster deal here. So the Lakers would receive Nick Claxton and Andrew Wiggins in a 3-team deal with the Heat and the Nets. Miami gets Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, their second-round pick this year, and then their 28 pick swap in 2028. And then Brooklyn Nets would receive the 2031 first-round pick, we would assume unprotected, salary matching, and another swap. So it's essentially two swaps, a first-round pick, and Rui Hachimura, and then salary filler for Nick Claxton and Andrew Wiggins. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments right now, would you do this deal? There is a lot of interesting facets of this. I was mainly focusing, of course, we cover Nick Claxton a lot on this channel. I was mainly focusing on the Andrew Wiggins side of it. But again, would you be able to get Andrew Wiggins for Rui Hachimura and a pick swap? Like, probably, depending on what happens with them and KD. But for Andrew Wiggins, turned into a very good defender, a very just solid player at the the NBA level now. Last year, finished this season really, really strong with the Miami Heat. Had his highest scoring year since 2020. In, of course, a small sample size in 17 games. But he put up 19 points with the Heat, very efficient from 3-point, like 36, like very solid, especially for him. Solid from the field, just an overall very good player, really solid defensively as well. When he went to Golden State in his mid-20s, he really developed and they got him to develop as a defender, a point of attack defender. That's something the Lakers could use. There's a relationship there between him and LeBron and all these different things. Of course, the Nick Claxton part of it, we would love. We all know that. But I think the Andrew Wiggins side of this trade and trades in general are underrated right now, given what the Lakers need. He could be the point of attack defender they need. Is he the best? No, but he would be a very good option and could be acquired for fairly cheap, especially if the Heat are trying to shed salary following a Kevin Durant trade. But you guys have been peace. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this stuff. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.